Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, podcast heat. I screwed it up, guys. Podcast, heat, wrestling, ants, breath. No, good golly. Studio One Sports. Good Lord. I can't do it. I'm in a glitch. Every time I mess up the intro. What is going on? What is happening? Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. Robert will be here momentarily, FYI. So, Willie Thornbow, we'll get to your question in a little bit. Triple E says, what's up? What's the next RVD episode? And how was Dom's play Salem's Accused? It was great. I did like a little read through, a staged reading of Salem's Witch Trials. I played Reverend George Burroughs. Look him up. Fascinating person, a very fascinating person during the Salem Witch Trials. So it was a lot of fun. It was right by where I live, too, which is nice, too. Can't beat that. Michael Watson joining in the house says, welcome to Zero Damn It Dom Friday. Nope. We clearly had one. Robert would have gave me a big one today. I butchered the intro. Jeff Henninger says, hello, R&I. Last time is now, but it's going to be last time tomorrow. Correct. Dre Owen says, happy Friday, R&I. John Cena is leaving, and MJF may be back next week. Quite the swap. Yeah, not for the different promotions, though. That's the unfortunate thing. Devin Dowling says, Ayo. On Fridays, we wear pink. That's right. Damn it, Devin. You screwed it up, too. The Wrestling Old. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'm off today, so it's daddy daycare. Oh, I hope that goes out. Locked out again. No, I'm live from Trace Brewing here in Pittsburgh, Bloomfield. Little Lily, baby. Yeah. They got good coffee. They do have good beer here, too, later in the afternoon. It's a good spot. I do a lot of work here, actually. All right. Hey, let's knock something out of the way real quick. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the new Blue Chew. Oh, yeah, I'm doing the ad read today. Check it out. Blue Chew, baby. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with certain ingredients to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. I can't believe I'm reading this in public. Blue Chew Gold dissolves out under your tongue and works as little as 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Elevation without hesitation. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Get that Blue Chew Gold. Help out the show. New product going down, baby. All right. So I don't want to give predictions without Robert here. So I did have a couple other notes that I figured I would cover. Who saw the graphics for the new Street Fighter movie? And the trailer, too. Apparently it's set in the 90s, which is awesome. Really scratches that nostalgia itch. You can't beat that. And the visuals are kind of unique. Let's see. It's the potential of being super duper cheesy or it actually working. And I'm intrigued. The trailer was kind of like, I don't know how I felt about the trailer, but look at these images. This is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as Guile and Akuma. Looks pretty good, especially Cody. That picture as him as Guile looks pretty awesome. And Akuma, Roman looks good, man. I'm kind of excited for this, man. I'm pretty excited for that movie. If they go over the top with it and just have fun, I'm all for it. And have a great soundtrack. I think that's going to be key. Get some good 90s tunes in there, big time. All right, Blue Chew Pretzels next. Not quite. That's true. I can't have a beer anytime. I could get a beer right now if I wanted. I'm drinking coffee, though. I really pick and choose my moments when I drink beer now. Now that I'm like 40, it hits me differently. I just feel I get tired real quick. And I don't know. But sometimes, good beer. Football Sunday, if I'm watching the Jets, I need to have a couple beers because they're awful. Just brutal. All right. Dre Owen says, saw the trailer, surprised they leaned into the cheese, still on the fence. Yes. Dre also adds that Dalcium is spot on. He looks like him. Look, a lot of the characters look great, like cartoonish, but great, So, yeah, you're right, though. They did lean into the cheese quite a bit, so I'm curious how that all balances out. It can't be like super duper cheesy, but cheesy enough and fun and good fight scenes. I mean, That's kind of what we were looking for back in '94, weren't we? I remember as a kid being like, "Why does Guile have an accent?" I knew who John Claude Van Damme was, but I was like, "This does not make sense." Uh, and then Tony Gong says, "Felt a little awkward seeing Cody and Roman on stage together." I didn't see anything, the behind the scenes stuff. I'm all right with it though. You know, you think about it, like you work with a lot of people you don't like sometimes, and you just coexist with them. So from a storyline standpoint, I'm pretty cool with it. It doesn't bug me that much actually. Um, yeah, it'd be one thing if they were like big blood feud or something like that, but I'm all right with them handling it the way they were. And even then, you could kind of play it off. So for me, it was just a Tuesday. What is that from, Johnny Disco? Please remind me. Was that from the original Street Fighter? Listen, I only saw the original Street Fighter like once and maybe twice, and it was both when it was around the time it came out, and I was like, this is not what I expected it to be. I was much more Mortal Kombat movie, '94, best video game movie, bar none. Man, that Johnny Cage was awesome. Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, R.I.P. the guy that played him. Man, so awesome. Oh, thank you, Johnny Disco. It was M. Bison talking to Chung Li. Listen, the bright spot about that Street Fighter movie, uh, Raul Julia as M. Bison. He was good. And he had cancer at the time. Crazy. Crazy. Um, but yeah, I thought here, I'll pop up the graphic one more time just because I think they look good. Boom, look at that. Yeah, quality stuff. So we'll have to see how that all goes. It's supposed to come out what? I can't read the. I know it's 2026, but I don't know when. Summer? I'm guessing summer. But good stuff. Hey, Jeff Henninger, the thing with video game comic book movies, people will complain if there's accurate look for the characters, not realistic, but will also complain if it's not accurate to the original characters, right? You got to find the balance. So I'm all right with the look that they're going with here. They make a universe out of it, and that's what's key. That's what's key about wrestling too. You have to create the universe that it all exists in. If you think of like Lucha Underground and the parameters set for what they did for that product, that world worked. If you go by, unfortunately, like I think of this almost as a negative, like the WWE universe back in like 2019, it really inhibited and gave some showed a lot of the flaws of what that WWE product was. So if you make your universe work, you can make those characters, personas, story work at the same time. So I think it's a key component to how this Street Fighter movie plays off. Like, I think it would be weird if you had like regular '90s looking people. Everybody's got to kind of look like almost like a cartoon, I would think, and you have to make it. Uh, yeah, but you can create a dynamic between everybody that makes sense and that is compelling enough too. So we'll see. Oh, next September. Wow, so we got a ways away. How about that? So far, so good though. I'm cautiously optimistic. Listen, it's one thing if it looks like realistic and then it's cheesy. I don't like that. But if it looks cheesy and it kind of is cheesy, but it's also fun, I'm all for it. I was really skeptical about the new Ninja Turtles movie. Uh, is it stop motion? Probably wasn't stop motion, more computer graphic kind of stuff, but a unique computer graphic look. I was really skeptical about it, tuning into it, but I loved it. I really did love it, and I thought it worked because they set the universe, they set the sense of humor, they set the tone. A lot of fun stuff that I thought made it different than the '91 Ninja Turtles movie. That was great. So I was a-okay with it. It looked and felt great, and I'm excited for that sequel too. To be honest. All right. Let's see here. We'll talk about, speaking of Cody Rhodes, we're going to talk about this. I think this was on Cody Rhodes' podcast. He happened to mention that talk about Paul Heyman. And I think this is a good topic to bring up to Robert too once he gets here. Hopefully he does get here. He just had a work thing going on, so I knew he was going to be delayed. So hopefully he does get here. But this was what Cody was saying to, of all people, Timothy Chalamet, who I had no idea was a wrestling fan. Did you guys hear the story about him and Batista? If not, I'll fill you in here. So apparently he told this story about Batista, how he loves Batista, and like when he found out he was working with Batista, I can't remember on what movie it was, but he went into Batista's trailer and was playing Batista's theme, "I Walk Alone," and did like the Batista thing. I think funny stuff. Listen, anytime you get an actor, like and a legitimate actor at that, Timothy Chalamet, like honestly, I've never really seen him in anything, so I can't really judge how he is as an actor, but I'm assuming he's good. Um, yeah, uh, if you get an actor on board, I think it's awesome. Obviously, wrestling social media or wrestling X might like turn heel on this person and like, oh well, they don't are educated or whatever, and not embrace him. But wrestling fans are a bunch of nerds, all right, and there's a lot of arrested development when it comes to the wrestling fan base. I'm not necessarily taking myself completely out of that equation either, just so you know. But look, it's great when you have somebody like that, and not only that, like Timothy Chalamet, he's not like obsessed with wrestling. I'm sure he's kind of into it, but like obviously he has other interests. He's into acting. Duh. Um, he likes the Knicks, the New York Knicks. So he's a sports fan. So he's like a an all encompassing quote unquote regular guy watching wrestling. So I think that speaks to the world of it all. Jeff Hanger adds, worst live action adaptation that I wanted to be good was Dragon Ball. See, I never got into the Dragon Balls. That was I was a little I was older, I think, once it before it started catching fire a lot. Um, and I never was into anime as a kid either. So I liked the X Men cartoons, the Batman the animated series. Um, what else was there? Spider Man, obviously. So a lot of the superhero stuff. I was more in that lane than anything else. But yeah, I didn't hear that that movie was very good. I got more familiarized with Dragon Ball Z after the fact because some of my college buddies liked it. So I was kind of forced to watch it one time during spring break. So I am familiar with some of the characters. I'll name some just so you know: Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo. Piccolo was my favorite, by the way. There was a fun video game of Dragon Ball Z I remember too, where it was like you fought, like you ran. It was like you could play with a buddy, and like you could run around it. It was almost like a bird's eye view, but like you were teamed up and you fought like the Super Saiyans or whatever the heck they had. So if anybody remembers that game, let me know because I can't remember what it was. I used to play with my buddy Doug, even though I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan whatsoever. FYI. All right. Where was I going? Oh, so anyways, Chalamet being a big wrestling fan, cool stuff. You think about him. You think about Kieran Culkin, pretty neat. Obviously, Topanga's big get. So Joe Manganiello, who's also from Pittsburgh, big wrestling fan. Trying to think what other. I would love to like pick the brains of so many different celebrities and just get their take and thoughts on wrestling, even if they're fringe wrestling fans or like they're just like Brian Cranston. Could you imagine interviewing Brian Cranston about wrestling? I'd be all for that. Tom Hanks. All right, I vamped enough. Here is the man of the hour, Mr. Robert Karplus is in the house. Hello, Robert.
Yes. Hello. Where? What the hell? Where are you?
You know where I am. Don't you
No.
remember this spot?
Oh, you're at the creepy ass place where
Yes.
the guy with the maroon sweatshirt died.
May he rest in peace.
Man,
Yes, Robert. How are you? Happy Friday.
happy Friday. Yeah, sorry, my last meeting went way too long, and I wasn't there to point out that Dom's audio sounds like absolute garbage. So,
Ooh, hold on. Let
oh
me
yeah,
fix that.
that's all right.
How does this sound, Robert? Better? Hmm?
No, somehow worse.
Wow.
You are a tremendous. Now you sound better.
How better? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Couple
Uh,
adjustments.
I don't even know where we're at, but I'm seeing comments about Dragon Ball Z. I have nothing to
Yes.
contribute to that, so I'm
I
gonna.
vamped quite a bit. Yeah, I didn't either too much, but
What
I was.
vamping? There's it's the biggest weekend in like the last
Well,
25
I
years
wanted
of
to
professional
save.
wrestling.
I wanted to get your takes on some stuff, Robert. Jeez.
Take away. I listened to a Timothy Chalamet podcast, so my Friday's
Oh
been fun.
yes, that's what I just talked about. Was the Timothy Chalamet podcast? So,
I felt
um,
old as all hell that Timothy Chalamet was talking about the stuff that I wrote back when I was there as being back when he was a little kid. The way
I
that I would
know.
talk about Hogan slamming Andre was the way that he was talking about the Matt Hardy Lita Edge feud, or
That's
One Night
amazing.
Stand. So
That's bonkers. It's so wild to think. But I think it's a good thing that a big actor like him likes wrestling, talks about wrestling in a positive manner, and is a fan. So
I
I got no
love it.
qualms.
It's one of those things where, like Dre Owen says, I wonder how many celebrities are hardcore wrestling fans, but ashamed to say. Um, yeah, so part of it is, for a long time there was a stigma around the
Mhm.
idea that you were going to come out and you were going to say I'm a wrestling fan, and there were a lot of celebrities who were wrestling fans. They would sneak to the back or something like that to go meet people, or watch it clandestine and think it was somehow going to hurt their reputation, when in reality, now in 2025, it's just part of pop culture. And when you had Timothy Chalamet talking about, he was an ECW fan. He was a John Cena fan. When you had him talking about working with Batista and playing Batista's theme song for him,
Yes,
it's not just the perfunctory, oh, I've heard of Hulk Hogan or I've heard of The Rock. You can now embrace it and say, yeah, it's a performance art. It's very physical, and it's a version of storytelling that translates, and transcends. And I think the person who typifies that best is John Cena.
absolutely. All encompassing John Cena. Let's talk about him, Robert. He's having a final match this weekend, tomorrow.
Really, you would have thought
Yeah,
that they
did
would
you know
have
this?
promoted that.
You would have really thought, but they really dropped the ball on the promotion
They
aspect
need
of
they need to
this.
get the Tony Khan marketing arm on this. That dude
Yes.
knows how to announce stuff well in advance. I realize I'm wearing my hoodie thing, my fleece thingy here on camera. I don't need to have that logo on.
Well, you don't want to support your team.
Gotta support the team. No, this was
That's
because
it.
it was like 50 something degrees outside this morning when I
Oh,
was
I feel so
outside. So
bad, Robert.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm in shorts. I just threw on the little fleece thingy so I don't get the. Anyway,
anywho, yes, John Cena's last match. He's going up against Gunther. Let's start off with this. Willie Thornboo led with this question, actually, Robert. Okay, Robert. John Cena's final match. Book it.
I would do John Cena versus Gunther.
Okay. Good
Um,
job.
I did see where I haven't. I'm assuming this is opening the show. I saw a report that they're doing it like old school Saturday night's main event. That John Cena is going to open the show with this match. I saw that tangentially while in a very important work meeting that I was fully paying attention to and not scrolling on my phone, where I thought I saw something about this, but it's very much of two minds. Here's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say this here, and then right after we're done with this, I'm actually recording Working Stiff with Scott Chapman. We were supposed to record yesterday. Scott was sick. We're recording today.
He's alive now.
This is the one match that you're going to get where you have permission to fully disconnect from everything going on with wrestling. John is committed that this is the last time we are going to get a John Cena match. This is the last time he's going to engage in physicality. This is the last time he's going to step in the ring. And for the first time ever, I believe him. Like, I believe a wrestler who's just like, I'm a man of integrity, to the sense of like, I'm never going to wrestle again. The only other person I believed was Shawn. When Shawn Michaels said, when I'm stepping away, I'm stepping away. So when he did come back at that Saudi thing, I was pretty annoyed. That being, are you choppy or am I choppy? Maybe Dom.
No, I'm
But
muted. I muted
oh, okay.
myself
Oh, you're
just so.
muted. That's what even better. Um, this is pure white meat babyface John Cena going in there with the big bad heel. Just take the journey. The end result ultimately doesn't matter, because if Gunther wins, Gunther's going to plant his flag as I am the man who retired John Cena, and it'll be a drum that he's going to beat for the next several years. But he is a former two-time world champion. He's a guy who is going to have continued accolades going forward. It's not like, all due respect to the Miz who keeps talking about, I won in the main event of WrestleMania against John Cena, the way that Chris Jericho would say, I beat Steve Austin and The Rock on the same night to become world champion. So this is not the end of Gunther's story, no matter what winds up happening. If he wins, great. If he loses, it's a farewell for John Cena. John Cena slayed the final dragon, and everybody gets to have that moment of happiness. And then Gunther can rebuild starting Monday. John has said this show is somewhat out of continuity. That's why it's WWE versus NXT. It's bring as many eyeballs in. So if John Cena stands tall in his last match and the crowd gets to cheer for him, it's a beautiful moment. If John Cena goes out on his shield, which is one of those things that's an old school, tried and true tradition, so be it. He's going to do what's best for the WWE. He's not going to politic and say, "Here's how I got to go out." That's not who that guy is. That's never really been who John Cena is. He's not so precious about his image in terms of individualized booking. He's very protective of how he is portrayed in terms of what it means for the company when he's out there as an ambassador and he's out there wearing tailored suits and he's speaking intelligently and he's holding himself up as I am a storied performer who deserves respect because the industry I come from deserves respect. But if it's I'm going to win, I'm going to lose, he doesn't care. Part of why I don't think he's going to lose in small part is we saw how generous he was with Solo and how generous he was with Austin Theory and previously how generous he was with The Miz. And it didn't really matter in the long run for any of those performers. So there is an argument, there is a possibility where they just say, you know what, let's give people the storybook ending, and he beats Gunther, and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, you know what? The more I've thought about it, the more I think like he should win. Because I do think Gunther is, I think to your point, he's already an established champion. He's got been on a good run. He's already ended Goldberg's career from a storyline perspective. So you look at those kind of things. I think it just packs more of a punch if Cena wins, and even if it's against what we usually think of Cena, because he's been so giving to a lot of talents in the ring and building it up. But I do think, as a big end cap for such a big name star that WWE has had, why not? It doesn't really matter. I don't think either way, but I think Cena should get the win, and I'll predict that that's what will happen for my prediction. But
So Devin Dowling asked, do we have a full card? I only know Cena, Gunther, and
yes,
Cody Obafemi. There's 4 matches, I believe, that have been announced for this show. Correct, Dom?
let me pull it up here. Yes, 4 matches. 4 matches.
So
We have
there's the Sol Ruka Bailey match.
correct.
There's these 3 matches, and then there's the tag champions AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, who are taking on Javon Evans and the
Leon
TNA
Slater.
Leon Slater. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, the purpose of this, and John has said, he said it in the Chris Van Vliet interview. He said it elsewhere. It's people are going to tune in because they want to see John Cena's last match. Let's show them what else we got.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I think that this match is going to be a good stalking horse to lead people in, and they're going to stick around and they're going to see some really talented performers who are getting the chance to step up, and hopefully they deliver.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see, whether it's with Cena or whether it's with somebody else, do you see any big storyline elements coming out of this? Um,
No.
Following, no, you don't at all. Do you think they should take advantage of that moment though? That opportunity, I guess.
Well, so I think that you can in the main if the main event winds up being Cody versus Obafemi,
Hmm.
you absolutely can have Drew McIntyre interfere.
Sure, sure.
And you get a little bit of the Vince McMahon, you ruined it.
Yeah.
But we will see what they ultimately decide to do. They may just keep it clean, or they may say, we've got people here, let's get them hooked and let's keep it going weeks and months ahead. And that's really where John Cena's legacy in this is going to be, is people tuned in, this did a big number, and people that were tire kickers or super casual fans, hey, maybe I'm going to stick around and see what this other guy does. Or I really liked what we saw from Javon Evans or Sol Ruka. She should be on the main roster. There's something interesting going on with her. Like, take the gamble, take the chance. You're gonna have that audience there on Peacock. It's a shame that it's not an easier to access show. If it was on NBC, that would be
Hmm.
great. Like Peacock is already, all right, I got to log into the thing and click the button.
Yes, there's a little bit of a hurdle you have to jump with that. From a Cody thing though, you could do a lot of different things. I think you could have Ricky Saints interfere on against Cody, and then you have a new feud going on there that we were talking about. Cody needs a new replacement going on here when it comes to Drew. Like, get something going with that. You could have Cody lose, and then Cena win, and then later on be that a crux for Cody to be like, I lost like against Obafemi when Cena won his final match and stuff like that. You could have some different storytelling stuff, I think, with it that would make it interesting coming out of Saturday's main event.
Yeah, you can't have Cody lose to Obafemi.
Not even if it's underhanded, like somebody
Well,
interferes or
maybe interference, but if it was a clean
yeah,
match, no.
yeah.
Like it's the world champion. You can't beat the
No,
world
no, I'm
champion.
with you on that. I'm with you on that, but I do think you could tell a story though. I mean, have it
Yes, I think there's a story to be told. I think you'll see that the big pressure on this is going to be on Obafemi to deliver,
sure.
because this is his chance. You're in there with the quarterback of the company, and it's your chance to show, hey, I belong at this level. And we've seen with Braun Breaker, they are not very gun shy right now about elevating people and letting them run wild.
Right? I mean, like that. Got to give them credit too, because if they're positioning somebody like Braun in that manner, if you have those expectations with Obafemi, you're positioning new stars, and that's what you're looking for right now. At kind of like a, I don't want to say a dire time, but it's a pretty important time for WWE to kind of build some new stars right now.
Well, they've got well.
So
The thing is, they have such a deep bench. Yes, you're losing John, but you just look at those promos for WrestleMania, and you're reminded that it's CM Punk, it's Roman Reigns, it's Brock Lesnar, it's Cody Rhodes. They're doing pretty okay. And then on the women's side, you've got Becky and Charlotte and Rhea and Liv. I've seen where it's a weaker bench, and
by no
and
means is it a weak bench. Yeah.
and they have sort of that next generation teed up and ready to go if they need to elevate them. I think they've done a nice job with Braun Breaker. I think they can get Bronson Reed where they need him to be. Once Jacob Fatu is back, Jacob Fatu, I think, is ready to run wild in this company in the next several months. And there are some folks in NXT, starting with Obafemi, who, when they get elevated up, you're kind of ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, you got some stars in position for that too. Um, Devin Dowling, real quick, he says in the Chalamet interview, Cody said his biggest rival thinks he is or wants to be QB1 like him. Was he talking about Seth or Roman? Do you think?
That was Seth.
Seth, okay.
Yeah, no, Roman doesn't care about being QB1. Roman is
No.
is sort of the way that Hunter talks about him, is he now talks about him as this is the new Undertaker, where whoever faces Roman, it's its own separate thing. It doesn't need a title, doesn't need a story. It's just you're going in there with Roman Reigns. That's what matters. Seth wants to be the guy steering the company going forward. Cody wants to be the guy steering the company going forward. When they wrestle each other, they elevate one another, and they do have really great matches that often leads to one or both of them getting hurt.
Right, right.
Yes, and
Came in
Cammy
also
Star points
mentioned
out, yeah,
Roman has
Roman
one
has.
foot.
He
One
does.
foot
He
out.
has he has one he has one foot out. Now he doesn't have one foot. This isn't. It was leukemia,
Harry
not
Von Erich.
diabetes, that he overcame. Yes, well, that was the least of Kerry Von Erich's problems. But the least of our problems right now is Dom's incredibly laggy video. But on the plus side, he'll be back. He'll be indoors. We'll be back with this on Monday. We'll be talking the fallout of John Cena's last match. Join myself and Scott Chaplin. That'll be up later on today, where we talk about the legacy of John Cena. And I've got a couple of about John that at least one or two I think people will really enjoy and be a little surprised by. But in the meantime, you can catch us every Monday through Friday. You can see us. See what I did there? We're tying it into the. I hate you all. You can catch us on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, ad-free shows, and podcast heat. So on behalf of the pinkest man in that bar, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Everybody, go see John Cena for the last time.
Shh.